It is a known fact that the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has presented a supplementary budget worth 2.17 trillion to the National Assembly, which it has been believed that the National Assembly has approved that. But one of the major contending issue in that supplementary budget was the purchase of the presidential yacht and also the fleet of vehicles that the president needed to move around, as well as the office of the the office of the First Lady that never exists in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Welcome to Elite TV. So now, before I go further to talk about the impact of this supplementary budget on our economy in terms of the borrowing aspect and some statistic, and while we keep spending so much money on things that we don't actually need it, let me allow you to watch what His Excellency, the presidential candidate of Labour Party at the February 25th, 2023 presidential election, His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi, what he has to say on how to spend public money.
There's nothing wrong with Nigeria. Nigeria has one of the best in terms of land, one of the best in terms of weather, one of the best in terms of God-given resources, and one of the best people. The only thing God has not given Nigeria is leadership. We must stop people from stealing public money. It is a must. We must stop people from wasting public money. It is not their private money. And all of us are involved. We must not celebrate them. Please join in building a better Nigeria. We must bequeath our children a better place. We cannot bequeath them Nigeria as it is today. Otherwise, we're going to bequeath them anarchy. And that's what we are suffering.
See, we have to stop the way we spend public fund and the way the governments of APC for the past 8 years, the last administration and this current administration, spend taxpayers' money is so alarming. You see them acquiring things that don't really matter, even at the expense of the Nigerian citizens. You look at the way that people are suffering, people are looking for what to eat, even for a day. But yet, these people go ahead to acquire luxury, for themselves. You remove fuel subsidy, and as a result of that, you've thrown the country into another high level of economic hardship. The inflation rate of Nigeria is over 26% economically. When you have an inflation rate above 10%, it is already an issue. But then we are above 25%. But here the economy, the country the leaders of the country don't even think about what the citizens are passing through. Just less than a week ago, the National Assembly received over 100 million naira for vehicles to be purchased for each of the House of Assembly member. And this Nigerians never sit well with them. But now here we are, when the president now needs a presidential yacht. But before I dwell on that, let's talk about the vehicles. The vehicles that were to be purchased for the president and the office of the first lady that never exists in the Constitution. Let's look at what happened to the vehicles at the villa before now. The president has some vehicles that have been using over time. Now, same vehicles were bought during Muhammadu Buhari's administration. Let's say he used them for 8 years and now they needed to change them. So what happened to those vehicles? Do you unshun them? If you unshun them, to who? How did you go about the unshunning of those vehicles? Those are the questions that we need to ask. Nobody is asking those questions or trying to even answer those questions. So is it now okay for the president or the leaders to wake up to say, okay, they're buying this for the president or for the state house? It doesn't make any sense, right? So for the presidential yacht, Is it a must that the 5 billion meant for the presidential yacht must be spent? Now that the National Assembly said no, you can't spend this money on presidential yacht or on the yacht on this particular item. You needed to move this money to the student loan. Let's talk about the student loan. How many people in Nigeria can actually access this student loan with the requirements for this student loan? Why are they putting the money on the student loan when we have ASU demanding for 1.3 trillion to be invested in our public institution in different phases, and since 2013 only 200 billion has been released into that sector. So what happened if we take that 5 billion and give it to ASU? Will it not solve some of the issues that we are talking about here, or some of the infrastructures that have decayed already in our public institution? If this money is being put into use, are we not going to be stopping this every year strike that we experience in our public institutions? But hell no, they want to put it somewhere else, maybe where they can actually eat from. Now, it is now obvious that these people don't really think about the masses, because if you do think about the masses, then you won't be coming up with such policies and trying to suppress anybody who asks questions in regards to why are you spending so much money on things that you don't actually need. On a little search about this presidential yacht, I discovered that no nation of the world, just like they came out to clear up the air according to them, that this is needed by the Nigerian Navy in order to do their patrol. Excuse me, it is Algeria, South Africa, and Egypt that have submarine in Africa. Now, is it not proper for Nigeria to, as the most populous black nation on earth, one of the fastest developing economy as of that time, and quote unquote giant of Africa, is it not proper for Nigeria to have a submarine? But we don't have a submarine. It doesn't make any sense for a nation like Nigeria, as big as Nigeria, doesn't have a submarine. There are so many advantages having this submarine. Even if another country has submarine, within the region of our territory, we won't even detect it. We won't even know. We don't have anything, any technicalities to even understand how things work. But Nigeria have come of age that should own some of those things. Those are the things that should be the priority of the Nigerian Navy. Having a submarine, having some of those equipment that should defend the territory, to protect Nigeria in our waterways, among others. When you talk about patrol and all of those are the things you need, not a presidential yacht. Why you do target a presidential yacht? Maybe this is where someone has, want to get his own means of livelihood from. It doesn't make any sense at all. Anyway, what do you think about this? Before you stand up to defend any politician, remember they don't care about you. They only care about yourself. So share this video to reach a larger audience. But do it to subscribe if you have not done so. Thank you for watching.